Okay, so we're back for season 10.
Season 10.
And as we've already talked about a little bit, you might have heard in the last show, we're switching to a slightly different format this time. Because it's our 10th season, we thought we'd do something a little bit different in a sort of celebration of film, as you were. But not necessarily good films. We are covering 10 movies this season instead of the standard 8. We're taking it in turns. Dan's picked 5. I've picked 5 of varying degrees of quality.
Mostly mine are shit.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I would say mostly mine, certainly critically, are shit.
I would say at least half of yours are shit. So like 2.5 of yours are shit.
Okay. But we are starting very, very, very strong with what I would call my favourite movie of all time.
Wow.
So no pressure.
I guess we were always going to get to this at some point then.
I just can't believe in 12 years of podcasting, I've never covered this movie before.
What movie is it?
It's The Thing.
And why have you never covered it before? I guess it only came out in 2011. So.
Oh, how dare you. So now you've got that joke out of the way. We did actually watch the 2011 prequel as well, so we've got that to refer to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the second best thing to come out of 1982. First being myself.
Oh, right. I was going to say E.T.?
You don't even like E.T. I hope you like me more than E.T.
I do like you more than E.T.
But that's a low bar.
E.T.'s a sentimental bollocks.
I love it.
But I haven't seen it since I was like 5, so...
Oh, and you're definitely not more cynical now that you're 40.
If I didn't like it when I was 5, I'm unlikely to enjoy it now, I guess. But
yeah.
This was a flop, wasn't it?
It was a big flop, yeah.
Was it a big flop, though?
Yeah, some of the Star Wars rip-off stuff was kind of... It sounded like workarounds rather than intentional. Because you've already mentioned, like, Mattel were pretty strict about the conditions that they had. Yeah. One of which was about the violence. Obviously, you've already mentioned that, but they specified that He-Man was not allowed to kill anybody on screen. So that's why Skeletor's army were not stormtroopers, honestly. Not. But yeah, they were effectively what, robots, I guess?
Yeah, I think that was what they were meant to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were protecting their brand, like you say. They didn't want He-Man to kill or injure any living creatures.
Yeah, which I don't think is that uncommon, because I know Apple are like notorious for never letting bad characters in TV and film use one of their phones or products.
Which is potentially a real spoiler for movies.
Yeah, it is. It is. Specifically this season of The White Lotus.
I hadn't thought about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I will now. Yeah, definitely. Like you say, that was a workaround to have He-Man not kill anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's a way you don't have to do it exactly the same as Star Wars, do you?
No.
They were black stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not stormtroopers. Why? They look like stormtroopers. No, they're black. And their heads are slightly bigger.
The helmet's like not quite the same shape.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think they look cool, but it's definitely derivative of Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's no denying that. And I think actually one of the taglines for this movie during its short marketing run
this year's Star Wars.
It's the Star Wars of the 80s, which blows my mind because there were Star Wars movies out in the 80s.
Yeah.
When was Jedi out? Like 83 or something?
It's a really bold choice to use that.
Yeah, it was.
Loud and wrong.
Yeah. But the score definitely is... The main part of the sound and the score of this movie is somewhat derivative of Star Wars and Superman, but that doesn't mean that I don't like it.
The first half, certainly. It sort of seems to change a little bit around the halfway mark.
There's a lot of score in this. And I think the score of this film is something that I think about all of the time.
Is it?
Yeah, it really is.
This is your Roman Empire.
What's he thinking about? The Bill Conti Master of the Universe 1987 score. Absolutely it is. It's something I think about quite a lot. And I think Conti is one of the greats. He, obviously, Rocky is the big one that he's known for.
Yep.
Karate Kid, which is another one of my favourites. And also Masters of the Universe. But I think he worked very hard on this, and there's lots of cues and lots of different themes for everybody used throughout at different points to conjure up different feelings and
Yeah.
to kind of move the story along and serve as context. And I think it really works. I don't think this movie is as successful to me without that score. I think the score is
Yeah.
something that always enhances a picture, but in this case I think is particularly important. And was it a couple of months ago when I insisted, I procured a DVD copy of Bushwhacked
Oh, yeah.
from eBay, and you hadn't seen it.
No, I
believe.
hadn't.
And I was like, well, you have to watch this.
It was a gaping hole in my Daniel Stern knowledge.
Yeah. But there was a part in it where the score went duh, duh, duh,
Yeah.
duh, 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 and I went, that sounds like a cue from Masters of the Universe. I looked it up. Sure be it, Bill Conti did
Yeah,
the
of
score.
course.
And like, you're always the accent person. You can
Yeah.
always pull out people's accents.
You're the score guy.
I'm the score guy.
Yeah.
Even if I don't know what it is, I'm like, I've definitely heard that somewhere. But that particular one, that's one, that's one that is playing in my head once a week. And I guess because I watched it so much as a kid and it's just kind of in there. I mean, obviously I would have been going around with my hands in the air saying, I have the power. And then after that going, duh, duh, duh.
When you weren't pretending to be Robocop, of
Yeah,
course.
Yeah, turning my body before my head. Yeah.
Which you definitely don't still do.
I definitely not. I don't. No, I don't. I don't do that. I have a question for you.
Okay.
How long is 0.61 chromons? Because that's how long it is until moonrise, about
Mhm.
halfway through this film. So I'm just wondering what the kind of the timing is of this movie. How long is 0.61 chromons, do you think?
Assuming this is all in real time,
Yeah.
about 32 minutes. I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
A chromon. Yeah, we did briefly discuss that when the film was on.
Yeah, we did.
I love it when movies just invent their own measurements.
Yeah. They said a thing as well. They said a term, something parsec eon, and I googled that, and that is actually a real thing. Like
Yeah.
like measuring the distance in terms of vast distances. You know, like over 100 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was real, but maybe chromons is real. I don't know. Someone write in. Don't write in.
We could Google it.
We could. I did Google it.
I think a chromon is a type of donut.
What flavour donut is it?
Maple bacon.
Okay. Bacon flavoured donut.
Yeah.
That's bold.
Maple bacon. That goes.
Okay.
I would eat that if it was vegan bacon.
I was on Deliveroo the other day and I did see a donut burger.
Oh
Which
no,
is-
that might be pushing it.
Yeah, I agree.
Did it have pickles on it?
I don't know. Maybe.
No. Veto.
Yeah, it sounded weird. It was a bit too weird for my kind of taste buds. I've got another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Gwildor, MVP,
If you say so.
genius inventor, locksmith,
Yeah.
can't remember noises.
No.
There's the part in a film where the cosmic key, which I'll go back actually, another good thing about this is props, or that particular prop I think is iconic.
I think there were a few of them
Yeah,
because they kept breaking.
right. There was a lot of moving parts, so that would make sense.
They
Yeah.
had to have people on set to fix them every time they broke.
Yeah. So at some point there are two cosmic keys. There's the one that Skeletor has, and there's the prototype that Gwildor has.
Yeah.
The one that Gwildor has gets damaged,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, "Well, we can't get back home now because it's erased the tones. We're fucked. We can't go anywhere." And the tones determine what point in the universe you land in.
Mm-hmm.
And the tones are always duh, 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 wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
Like you go from Eternia to Earth, the tones are duh, 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 duh. And
Yep.
if you want to go from Earth to Eternia, the tones are duh, 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 duh. So are they the only tones that exist and you have to think where you want to go? And why didn't
Yes.
you remember those tones? I think it's possible that I'm overthinking this,
Oh, for certain.
but there is also a line of dialogue where Gwildor says to Paris from Star Trek, "You're a song maker." Are you a master songmaker? We have songmakers on my planet. Well, how does that work then? Because if your race can't remember tones, how do you have fucking songmakers?
It's all just jazz. It's all freestyle jazz.
No, it probably fucking is jazz, isn't it? On Gwildor's planet.
They never have to remember it because it's different every time.
Yeah.
Free form. Well, I've got a question also.
Go on.
They talk at length about not being able to track the keys, but then all of a sudden they can track the keys?
That's a very good point. The first half of this movie, Skeletor, Evil Lyn, the mercenaries, find the key. Where is the key?
Mm-hmm.
Courtney Cox, have you seen the key? No, it looks like this. Oh yeah, I have seen it. Paris, where is the key? I'm not telling you. I put this collar on. Oh, well, I can't say where it is, but the policeman took it from Top Gun. You might have seen Top Gun. It's the guy that blinks a lot.
It was pretty big.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Maybe they'll make a sequel one day. I don't know. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They put the collar on Paris. Where's the key? I don't know, but a policeman took it, and they go, we should be able to track it from the air.
Yeah. Why now?
So this whole thing was unnecessary. If you can track it from the air, why couldn't you just get to Earth and just track it from the air?
Why weren't you already doing that half an hour ago?
Yeah.
Or 0.61 chromons ago, sorry.
They spent way too many chromons trying to find this key by asking people when they should have just tracked it from the air.
I'm not made of chromons. Come on.
Chromons is money.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's our first merch drop.
I was going to say, if we did any merch, then that would absolutely be the first thing we did. Happy Rex Manning Day.
Not quite. Or is it?
Well, it depends when you're listening.
That's a good point.
If you're listening on release day, on a Monday, unless you live in Australia, in which case you're in the future, then Rex Manning Day is tomorrow, the 8th of April. If you're listening to it on the 8th of April, then happy Rex Manning Day. We're on or around Rex Manning Day at time of release.
Yeah.
And that's good enough for me.
It's definitely good enough for me as somebody who fervently celebrates Rex Manning Day every single year.
Yeah, something I was not familiar with until you and I met, and you told me about Rex Manning Day, and I was like, what the fuck's Rex Manning Day? And you went, it's an Empire Records thing. And I said, oh, I haven't seen Empire Records.
You said, what the fuck's Empire Records?
I knew what it was. I remember that poster from when I was a teenager. But yeah, no surprise. This is your pick this week in our season of flops.
Yep, back to me.
Yeah, third film in a season, back to you, Empire Records, off you go.
Oh my God, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
Why'd you pick it? First question.
I love it. I picked it because I love this movie. And I think perhaps... So we're only 3 episodes into flops. And I think The Thing is perhaps a bit of an outlier.
Yeah.
Because, because I think that's a genuinely brilliant film. Now, I am an Empire Records apologist. I make no bones about that. But do I think it's an excellent film? No, I don't. I think it's kind of a mess.
You are correct in some of those words you just said.
Yeah. I mean, some of it was opinion-based, so I would say I'm correct in all of it.
While we were just having this little chat, my brain was working in the background and really trying to figure out if actually I do like hangout movies, because I can't actually think of any off the top of my head that I love.
We've covered one.
Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. The Empire Records actually gets compared to Breakfast Club quite a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of a single location, bunch of annoying people stuck in a room together.
Yeah. Some are more endearing than others.
Yeah.
But unlike Breakfast Club, the goth girl does not get a makeover.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate.
But I don't know if the hangout genre is really for me. Thinking about it and while we've been talking, I think I prefer Empire Records to Clerks now at this point. I only saw Clerks for the first time very recently when you introduced me to it, and I'm kind of like, I find it a bit hard to watch. I don't find it very interesting, to be honest.
I don't love it as much as I used to. I'll always have a fondness for those movies because of, I guess they sort of shaped who I am in a way. They played a small part in that.
Well, yeah, a lot of people wrap their identity around these Kevin Smiths and Linklater types movies, don't they?
Yeah,
And
stuff
Dazed
that you
and-
saw in your formative years. It's
Yeah.
bound to have an impact.
and Dazed and Confused. That's something I think we watched together as well. See, I think
Yeah.
a bunch of these I just never saw.
Yeah.
I guess they never really appealed to me a great deal, so I never sought them out. And when I did see them, I was like, it's all right. Bit dull though, isn't it? What's that Ben Stiller one? Is that a Hangout movie?
Reality Bites.
Reality Bites. Is that?
I wouldn't call that a Hangout movie, no.
Who made that? Is that Linklater?
No, that was Ben Stiller.
Oh, he directed that.
He did, yeah.
Before The Cable Guy.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Would have been a year or two before.
Okay.
I don't know. All those films are kind of the same ilk, but yeah, I wouldn't call
Yeah.
that one a Hangout movie.
Which one do I like? It's really bothering me now.
You're just like, there must be one.
I guess The Breakfast Club is my favourite, and I don't like it that much.
Yeah.
I own it, and we've covered it. It's all right. We spoke about that in the Breakfast Club show, so go and listen to that if you give a fuck about my opinion on it.
I look at you just scanning your Blu-rays. There
Yeah.
must be a Hangout movie amongst
Hacksaw
them.
Ridge, is that a Hangout movie?
Nope.
No. Captain America Civil
Nope.
War? What? No.
Well,
ooh.
I guess you could call it a hangar out movie because they
Oh.
are in a hangar for a while.
A German airport.
Yeah.
They are. Very good. Travolta lobbied to get this made for the longest time
Why?
because he's a Scientologist.
But-
Whatever questions you ask during this podcast, the answer is almost certainly always going to be because Scientology.
I don't accept that.
But apparently, when he was alive, LRH had sent a book to John Travolta with a signed copy of his book, Battlefield Earth. And Travolta was trying to get it made since its release, pretty much. And originally he was going to play main character called Johnny Goodboy, who's...
I'm sorry. I can't take that seriously.
who eventually, of course, became Barry Pepper's role. And he sort of aged out of it, so he became the head Cyclo security guy. I can't say any of this with a straight face.
No.
You know?
No.
But
That's like if you asked a child, what do you want to call the bad guys? Cyclos.
yeah,
Just because they can't say psycho properly.
yeah,
Idiotic.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to preface this by saying I am going to be overwhelmingly negative this episode.
Oh, just don't worry about it. Like, there are some films, especially in this season, that I will defend. Masters of the Universe was a
Mhm.
good example of that. I don't think that film's terrible. Some people don't like it at all. But
Empire
when
Records for me.
Exactly, Empire Records for you. When you line them up directly against Battlefield Earth, you really understand what a bad movie really is. Like,
Yeah.
there's no comparison. They are worlds apart.
And I've
this
seen some bad movies in my time.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny because you told me that this is largely considered the worst film ever made, right? Because I was under the impression it was something like Plan 9 from Outer Space or Manos, The Hands of Fate, or even The Room or Birdemic, which come up quite a bit on this podcast. And I don't know. For all their flaws, I think I would rather watch any one of those before watching Battlefield Earth again.
Mm.
And I can't quite get a handle on what is so unpleasant about it.
Oh, there's loads.
I mean,
About Battlefield
all
Earth?
of it, yeah.
Yeah, take your pick.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about performances? Do we want to talk about how it looks, the grading, the camera angles, the close-ups, the characterizations, the special effects?
There was characterization.
or lack thereof. I'll be curious to revisit this for a while, just because it's like, it can't be as bad as I remember.
I was just going to say, was it better or worse than your memory of it?
Worse.
Worse?
It was
Wow.
worse. I don't
Okay.
remember being as bored as I was when we were watching it last night, when I was, I don't know, I guess 16, 17 when I saw it. But then
Yeah.
again, I was 16, 17 when I saw it. And my brain was much smaller, if you can imagine such a thing. That's why I chose it. I procured it. We now own a copy of Battlefield Earth because it wasn't
I
streaming anywhere.
Cannot believe we have a copy in our house.
Not for long.
No. Do you think, where did you buy it? Was it on eBay?
Yeah.
Do you think the person you bought it off had been trying to sell it for the best part of 20 years?
There was an inch layer of dust
Yeah.
that arrived. I had to blow it like Indiana Jones blows dust off an old fucking slate. It was, I'm sure someone was like, fucking hell, so Terry, what? Someone's bought the copy of Battlefield Earth that we've had on eBay for 15 years. Since eBay first started, it was the very first thing ever listed, and it's been there. It must be some sort of record. What idiot is buying this? Oh, Dan's bought it. But only because we're covering it for a podcast. And honestly, like, if the heating ever goes off, if our gas gets cut off,
we need fuel.
We've got something to burn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although I probably will burn it before that happens.
Yeah. For joy rather than for warmth.
Yeah.
There is a much more extended sequence where Boone goes home and he's tripping balls in his underwear. And obviously, having just been told that he's a murderer, he sets fire to like his passport and a bunch of documents and photos and stuff. And then hallucinates Laurie being there and them having sex. And then he's out. Then he goes to the club to see her sing. Right. And we get that. Just give us like a snippet of the song. We don't need the whole song. It's such a terrible song.
Okay.
It's awful. It's so bad.
And it goes on for a while.
And it goes on for, it feels like 7 minutes. It's not.
We just forward it, can't you?
Oh, it's so bad. That's the one thing I wish they hadn't put back in the director's cut. Clive Barker was obviously very attached to that song. And to be fair, like Anne Bobby is great, but awful. And then he leaves without speaking to her, and then he's traipsing through the road and ends up in the hospital.
That's when he goes to the hospital, because Decker in the theatrical cut, the scene prior to that is Decker, take these pills. Mm-hmm. You've got 24 hours to hand yourself into the old bill.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'm going to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't that hung up on that. Like, he took the pills, and I just was like, oh yeah, he's seeing him for a reason. He's hallucinating. He's having these dreams of Midian. What confused me is why the psychiatrist was so fascinated with his dreams about Midian. It's almost like Decker knew that it was a real place that existed, and he just seemed to be fascinated by it. I don't know.
I'm not sure about. I think he was fascinated by it, yeah, but I think maybe he hadn't heard of it until Boone started talking about it.
Because it's also when Boone gets to the hospital and he meets Narcisse asks him about Midian, and he's, oh, do you know where this gaff is? I really want to go there. Mm-hmm. Plus now I'm going to cut my face off. And
as you do.
For reasons. Yeah. So it feels like it's like this like underground club that only select a few VIP people know about.
It's a goth club.
It's a goth club, yeah.
Complete with a percussionist that bangs on the wall.
What was I saying? So Boone gets gatted by the old Bill.
Yeah.
By old mate from Holby City.
Oh yeah, when did you turn into Danny Dyer? Gets gatted by the old Bill.
Yeah, because Decker says, "Oh, he's got a gat on him. Mm-hmm. You better plug him now." And he gets plugged, and then old mate from Holby City is like, "Yeah, ain't got a gat, man." and then he dies, gets taken to the morgue, and somehow ends back at Midian. But at that point, he's dreamt about Midian. He's tried to get there. He's been killed, and now he's accepted. And he gets tested by the bowl of jizz. Right?
Yes.
Yes. You had to actually point out to me that not Dirk Gently, Dirk something.
You're talking about Lylesburg?
Dirk Lylesburg, yeah. What's Dirk Gently? I feel like that's a 90s detective show or something.
Isn't that like a Garth Ennis
I'm going to Google this. What is Dirk Gently?
Is it Douglas Adams or something? I don't know.
Dirk Gently.
It's based on book.
It's Stephen Mangan. Yeah, that's a blast from the past. What was I saying? Old mate, Doug McClure.
Lylesburg. Doug Jones.
No, not Doug Jones.
Bradley.
Doug Bradley. We got there in the end.
So there are 3 Cenobites in this movie.
Right. So he turns up there, and Doug Bradley's like, "Put your hand in this bowl of jizz, and we're going to see if you're an actual Nightbreed." So my question is, was he a Nightbreed before he got bitten by a pelican, or was he, or did he become a Nightbreed when he got bitten by the pelican?
I think you should do recaps of movies on YouTube.
I can when I get some time, I'll happily do it. So, but that's my question. He was dreaming of Nightbreed, the Midian and the Nightbreed.
Before he got bitten, he was a natural.
And that means you're not a Nightbreed. You're just a regular human.
Yes.
But he was dreaming of it.
But he was always fated to become one of the Nightbreed.
Okay.
To become one of the tribes of the moon.
So when...
And save them.
So when,
save Baphomet.
When... We'll get to that. So when Pelican bit him, he was like, I'm going to bite you, man, because you're on our ground now.
You're on our turf, fam.
Yeah, and I'm a bit...
something.
I'm like a sort of a baddie, I guess. The most baddie of the Nightbreeds, apart from the Berserkers.
He's a dick.
Yeah, he's a bit of a dick. But does he know about the ground drawings on the wall in the cave at this point? He must have seen them, so he knows that he's doing the thing that's on the wall, but we're led to believe that he's acting out. And Chin Headman is
Kinski.
like, don't, that guy, he's like, don't do that, that's naughty. But he's like, I'm going to fucking do it anyway. But should I not?
Fuck the law.
Fuck the law, man, yeah. But he does it anyway. It's I don't know, it feels a bit weird, doesn't it? I don't know where I'm going with this.
I don't either, but it's fascinating. Carry on.
But I think that's what this film for me is, though. Like, I can't quite work it out, and that's part of the thing that I find interesting about it. Like, it gets from one place to the other, and maybe it's a bit messy, but I'm like, but why have they done these things? This is fascinating. There's
clearly a very distinct vision.
Yeah.
But I think, it's not necessarily constructed or explored or explained in totally adequate ways.
And what about in the director's cut? Is it explained any better there?
That bit specifically?
Yeah, I suppose so. Okay.
Not really, no.
Okay, but so it's just a prophecy, and we have to accept that it's a prophecy.
Yes.
Okay, I can do that. I can live with that.
But in the same way that Christians are like, we just have to accept what the Bible says.
Yeah.
We have to accept what it says in Cabal.
Okay. We're still on the big old floppy flop season. And I can't help but wonder if this is some sort of revenge for Battlefield Earth, because you've chosen
Tank Girl.
Yes.
And they don't come much floppier than Tank Girl.
They don't. It was a big floppy one, wasn't it?
It was really floppy, yeah.
Yeah. 25 mil budget.
What did it make?
4.5.
Oh, 4.5.
4.4. I saw on the internet.
That's more than I thought, actually.
So qualifies for the floppy season.
It does. It's wild to me that this made more than Empire Records.
Yeah, and Police Academy 7.
I love how many gauges we use Police Academy 7 for.
You could gauge any movie against Police Academy 7, can't you?
Yeah, that's our metric for everything.
Movies in Russia, movies about police, movies about eggs.
Movies with Ron Perlman.
Yeah. And that's a lot of movies.
Yeah, that covers a lot of bases. Franchises.
Yeah. Ron Perlman is not in Tank Girl, which surprises me.
He's not.
If this was made today, he would be in it.
I think Ron Perlman would have been actually pretty good in the Malcolm McDowell role.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Or as one of the kangaroo people.
I don't think there's enough latex in the world to cover his head after they used most of it in Hellboy. Surely.
True. He's probably sick of being in costume. Although Doug Jones is in this movie, so it does have a Guillermo connection.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Did I know that?
Guess what character he plays?
I don't know.
One of the kangaroo people. What else?
Oh, right.
What else is Doug Jones going to be playing?
I don't remember a spindly kangaroo man. I guess they beefed him up a little bit. Speaking of bollocks, they did make a kangaroo penis.
Right. I don't remember seeing that.
No, you didn't.
I would remember if it was in the movie.
It was not in the movie. All I know, I don't know if the scene exists anywhere. I haven't searched for it. I don't wish to search for it. I never want to see it. But apparently they did make a full bodysuit for Booger, because the scene where him and Rebecca are sort of lying, looking up at the sky, having a conversation, that is supposed to be, I think, the build up to a sex scene.
Oh, right.
And then there's supposed to be like a post-sex scene where he's naked. And they made a kangaroo dick.
to
does
attach
that-
to his person, or
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So I'm presumably like Bugger would have needed 4 people operating him at that
Yeah.
point.
Possibly more.
Yeah.
What was it? How big was it?
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't think there's any images or video available.
That's a shame.
People on Reddit have been asking and looking, but they haven't found it yet.
Thank God for AI image creation.
Oh no, this is why AI is bad. But yeah, obviously their relationship is not ambiguous, but apparently a lot of people who watched the film were confused as to whether or not they had sex. And it turns out yes they did.
So we were meant to see them bone in the movie.
Not necessarily having sex, but certainly straight after.
So we were meant to see just like a flaccid post-coitus penis.
A flaccid kangaroo penis, yeah.
Okay.
Made by Stan Winston or one of his minions.
I wonder who owns that penis now. Is the latex degraded, do you reckon?
Oh, God, yeah.
I
oh,
wonder
no.
where. I'd like to know where it is and who owns that and what they've done with it.
Would you?
Yeah. If you're Stan Winston and you're listening, could you let me know where that penis is?
Yeah, I'm sure Edgar Wright and Stan Winston. Isn't Stan Winston dead?
Is he dead?
I think so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's
If you're
definitely not going to be listening.
children of Stan Winston, let me know what's happened to this penis. Asking for a friend.
Imagine going through your dad's estate and just finding a lone, degraded silicone kangaroo penis.
I bet that's happened more often than you realise, you know. You go, like, your nan dies and you go up in a loft
Oh no!
and there's just boxes full of dildos and you're like, oh, Grandma!
Oh, that's definitely happened.
She had a spiky one. She's not salt.
It looked
Yes,
like
she
the
was.
death of a unicorn lamp. Oh
Come on.
no!
There's loads of grannies shoving. No, I'm not gonna
Stop it.
Stop.
Nobody needs to be thinking about that. Everybody's just switched off at that point. We've lost every listener now.
Wasn't Booger part dog as well? Didn't he say that he got promoted from a dog?
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Are they like Pokemon?
I don't know. Did they get promoted in Pokemons?
They evolve.
That's the same thing. I swear there was a bit of dialogue in it where... So the kangaroo people, they were made by a geezer that did genetic engineering
Mm-hmm.
called Phil or something. I think he was called Phil or something.
Sure.
But I swear at one point Booger was like, oh, I was a dog, but I was really clever. So they promoted me to kangaroo dog man.
And now he's really dumb.
Did I imagine that? But clever for a dog. Not how many dogs do you know that can talk?
I know 0 dogs that can talk.
I've never met one that can
Yeah.
talk. The closest you get is those dogs on TikTok that press the buttons and go, feed me, bitch.
Now.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. That's the closest you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have talking dogs soon with AI interpretation of animal language.
I don't think I want to know.
I do. I'd love to have a conversation with a dog.
What if they hate humans? What if it's been a ruse this whole time? They've just been like, these fucking mugs who take us in.
I can't wait for that day. I think that'd be super interesting.
I hope it plays out like Darwin in Sequest DSV, the dolphin that can talk.
All things come back to Darwin, don't they, from Sequest DSV. You're such a
Look.
nerd.
Look,
Sequest
DSV was underrated.
Wasn't it? I think it was rated just fine.
Look, you like Star Trek. You can't give me shit. Sequest DSV was basically Star Trek, but underwater.
But water, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it though?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So me. Was Roy Scheider in that?
Yeah. Until he
there-
wasn't.
Were there sharks in it?
Probably.
Was he typecast as the shark guy?
He's
was
he's the fish guy. Yeah.
He's the fish guy. Oh, we got to make something about fish. Get Scheider. Or helicopters.
Yeah.
Get Scheider.
Mhm.
Was he in Airwolf or the other one?
I don't know. What do you mean the other one?
There were 2 helicopter shows, weren't there? One went what was that one?
I feel we veered too far away from Tank Girl at this point.
No, I don't think we've veered far away enough. So what happened when Roy Scheider left Sequest DSV?
Well, he died.
In real life?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then he was replaced in Series 3 by Michael Ironside.
And that was the last season of Sequest
It
DSV?
was,
Right.
yes.
Was
Third and final.
Was Justin Whalen in Sequest DSV? Or am I thinking of the New Adventures of Superman and Lois Lane?
Justin Whalen.
Yeah. He was the guy that was in Chucky 2 or 3?
Oh, I was thinking of Sean Whalen. Yeah, Justin. Yes, he was. He was
Right.
in Superman.
Yes, the show, the TV show, the television
Yeah,
program. Yeah.
But maybe you're thinking of confusing him with Jonathan Brandis. They had similarly floppy hair.
Right. They were out in the 90s, so it's not a million miles away from what we're talking about. Like
That's
the
true.
cultural
Yeah.
zeitgeist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does zeitgeist mean culture anyway? Is saying cultural zeitgeist is one of those words irrelevant? Is that a redundant
Is that an oxymoron?
What did you call me?
So coming back to Tangirl.
Well, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been a season of apologies, hasn't it? We could have called this the apology season.
We should have done.
This week it's my turn to apologise, isn't it?
Again.
Again, last week you apologised for Tank Girl.
I did.
Well, I requested an apology. Did I get it?
I think I apologised.
In writing.
Oh no, I've not done it in writing.
Okay.
I didn't have any idea you expected such a formality from me.
Okay, you've got 6 working days, 6 business days, and then I expect it'll be in a post in the next few days. Anyway.
In the post, we live together. I think you can sit and spin, darling.
Just go and pay £3.50 for a stamp or whatever it is they fucking cost now.
Yeah.
Someone the other day, I was talking to them and they were like, oh, I just can't believe how much stamps are now. I was like, what are they, about 40p?
No.
Because last time I bought a stamp, I think they were 24p.
What?
Yeah.
Was that in 2007?
It was probably in 2001 when I procured the movie Driven.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm very sorry. First time you've ever watched this movie, I believe.
It was.
Although you've seen bits of it.
Well, you watch it frequently.
Yeah.
So I have been in the room and experienced parts of this. Scenes in isolation.
Yeah, you've seen some scenes in isolation, which we'll probably get into some of the scenes.
Sure.
But for context, we've lived together for what, 3 years now?
Yes.
And I've watched this 4 times in this house.
At least.
I think it's 4. It could be 5, but I think it's 4.
Well, we've gone 2 weeks without recording. A little bit of a peek behind the curtain there. And you couldn't wait 2 weeks to watch this movie.
No.
So while I was away, you watched it and then watched it again with me last night.
Because we were out of the rhythm. I was like, usually I'd get back and we'd watch the movie, or we would have already watched it by then. And I was so excited to watch this film.
You were so keen to watch this absolute piece of shit that you couldn't wait a week.
Yes. And I won't be defending all of this movie. I will be defending some of it.
I feel like it's just going to be a role reversal of last week, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Although there's less kangaroo penis in Driven.
Well, there wasn't any kangaroo penis in Tank Girl. We discussed that at length.
But they didn't even shoot any kangaroo penis.
There's the same amount of kangaroo penis in both films.
But no kangaroo penis was ever made.
That we know of.
Who knows what goes on behind the scenes
Precisely.
in Sly's life. Do you know what I want to do, actually? Something we very rarely do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we did it maybe earlier on in seasons 1 and 2, but I'm going to read the synopsis on the back of my old school DVD cardboard case with the annoying little clicker thing.
It's been a season of those, because My Empire Records is one of those.
Yeah.
Battlefield Earth was one of those before we torched it in the garden.
Yeah. Emphasis on was one of those. It's destroyed now.
Yeah. We took one out of circulation.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
We're doing our bit. So I'm going to read the synopsis on the back of this thing, because...
Are you assuming that nobody else in the world has watched this film? Because that would probably be safe.
Probably. Yeah, so it's probably important for a bit of context. Okay, so Driven, a fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping action drama set in the Formula One Championship season.
Is it though?
No. How are they getting away with that? How is fucking Bernie Eccleston allowing that? It's not Formula One season. It's the kart season.
Yeah, even I know that.
Yeah, which is not even, which doesn't even exist anymore. It got absorbed into the Indy 500. So yeah, top racing driver Jimmy Bly, Kip Pardue. Remember the Titans? Do you remember them?
Oh, was he in that?
Apparently.
Because he's in quite a few films that I quite like.
We've covered one of them.
Oh, yes, he was in 13.
I can't believe it's our second Kip Pardue movie.
Yeah, who I realised upon doing my research that I often get confused with Gabriel Mann.
Who is also a human person.
Yeah, they're both sort of long-faced, blonde American men.
Okay.
Interchangeable.
Okay, so they perhaps could have done a better job than Kip Pardue in this movie.
Are you suggesting that Kip Pardue didn't do a good job in this movie?
I'm suggesting that no one did a good job in this movie, right? in a film where you could say maybe perhaps Til Schweiger was the best actor, like I thought
probably Burt Reynolds, right?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's more to do with the script and the lack of.
Just finish the synopsis first. We can't even get through this without tearing this film apart.
I didn't remember the Titans, but he was in that. Yeah, so Jimmy Bly is having trouble performing on the track. Circuit. To try to improve the situation, car owner Cole Henry, Burt Reynolds, Boogie Nights, in case you didn't know.
In case you didn't know who the Burt Reynolds was.
In case he wasn't sure who Burt Reynolds is, yeah. He calls him Joe Tanto.
I can't, there aren't words for how much I hate that name.
Joe Tanto. Yeah, terrible name. Oh, terrible names all round.
Yeah.
Joe Tanto is played by Sylvester Stallone, didn't you know? He's a former racing champion whose career was laid to rest after he was almost killed in a tragic accident, which you don't really, there's one line of that in the film and it's brushed over very quickly. Feels important. More sparks fly as Bly indulges in an affair with Sophia Estella Warren, brackets Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, name one of the films she was in.
I know.
Yeah, precisely.
Girlfriend of his number one rival. And then it doesn't mention Til Schweiger.
Oh.
Bo Brandenburg. That's another good name, isn't it? BB, Bo Brandenburg.
Yes, but apparently it was ridiculed in Germany because it doesn't sound like a German name.
Right, okay.
Because they really hyped up the fact that Til Schweiger was one of Germany's biggest stars at the time. So they really hyped up the marketing in Germany. And
Did they?
The German public were very disappointed.
Rennie Harlin, brackets Deep Blue Sea, directs a totally testosterone-driven experience involving fast cars, sexy girls, and cutting-edge film technology, enabling the viewer to experience racing in excess of 240 miles an hour.
Was the cutting-edge technology in the scene where Sylvester Stallone's CGI head is pasted atop a car?
Yeah. They didn't even get the proportions correct.
No, they did not.
You were making notes at the time. I was like, you got to watch this.
Yeah, you're going to want to see this.
Yeah. We're going to want to talk about this situation. Yeah.